So the WNBPA president had an article with Annie Costable on Front Office Sports. Shout out to Annie. But this one was wild. This one was absolutely wild because this article here essentially confirms everything. It confirms everything. It confirms Howard Megdal's article. It confirms what Fee and Stewie are, or if it's not Fee and Stewie, geez, what Plum and Stewie are saying. It essentially confirms all of this. And by the way, I don't think, if you think that this isn't like a big moral thing, everyone's allowed to have their own opinions on different stuff, but like absolutely this confirms that the higher ups are pushing for a strike. They are pushing for a strike. There's no question about that. Obviously, with all this other stuff as the March deadline approaches. So let's take a look at what Terry Carmichael has been saying here. So it says here, I think you're hearing the discomfort from what's playing out when asked. I don't think there's discomfort for what we're doing. There was a letter written to you about there being discomfort. There was a letter written to you saying that players are not comfortable, are going to Stewie and Plum saying, look, we're not comfortable with this. Can you do something? And then you're just flat out saying, no, that's not real. That's not real. You're proving again that you don't want to listen to anyone that isn't on your side. That it's not representing the players. It is representing a fraction of players, which might be the majority, by the way. But the PA are purposely not representing all the players. I don't know if it's the majority or not, because the way they're doing everything about this is to make sure that they can make it seem like it's the majority, but it might not be. I hear the frustration. I hear the emotions. It's the result of the league putting pressure on players. It's nothing to do with the fucking league putting pressure on players. There's a season starting in 2 months. What are we doing? Like, it is a season. Like, it's nothing. The league putting pressure by what? By not coming out there and saying delaying the season. Like, should the league, like, what? And by the way, the WNBA have stalled negotiation. You sent back the same proposal twice. They've repeatedly stalled. Do you know who's currently stalling? You. The ball is in your court, and you are currently have no intention, by looks of things, of putting in a proposal anytime soon because it seems like you, whether it's you or one of the other EC members, leaked the letter so that the only conversation is about the letter and you can't even come to a proposal. You leaked the letter to stall. You leaked the letter to stall because you want a strike. That is what it sounds like. That is what all of this sounds like, including you. So you can, like, this all looks like it's right. Other players have shared opposing views to Plum. WNBA VP Secretary said, Elizabeth Williams, this is the first time she's heard lack of communication, players not feeling comfortable to speak up. Yes, because they're not comfortable to speak to you. They've gone to other players because they don't feel comfortable to speak to you. How do you not get this? Like, could you imagine? That is literally like saying, players are going to some players and be like, look, we don't feel comfortable speaking up. Can you speak out for us? And then the own leadership going, players aren't uncomfortable to speak up because this is the first I've heard of it. Yes, because they're not comfortable to speak to you. Like, what are we doing here? I think maybe because the pace of negotiations is moving faster. What faster? You're the ones that are stalling right now. That's my guess. Any member can initiate a call or me if they want to. Yes, but as Stewie and Plum said, anyone who, they're scared to speak up because the PA higher-ups make them feel like they're anti-union if they say anything. They've literally gone to certain players saying, we don't feel comfortable speaking to these people. And they're like, well, anyone can actually say if they want to. It's like, anyone can complain if they want to. But you do realize that complaining means you're a scab, right? Like, we're going to brand you amongst all the players as a scab if you complain, right? Like they've done to Stewie and Plum. She adds the player reps have been more active participants in these calls than the last CBA negotiations. You can look at a survey to gauge on players. Where 114 members participating in surveys open to players for 4 days. 84% vote in favor of the union continuing for a higher percentage of revenue share. No. 84% said they wouldn't agree to a rev share and for 8 years. It didn't say whether they would agree to it short term. They asked 2 questions in one. Obviously, an 8-year deal is dumb. No matter what you do, an 8-year deal is dumb. That's really dumb. But you asked 2 questions in one and gave a number that was 20% less than what the league offered. So the league have offered 70%, probably for 8 years, which is never going to be accepted. And you have literally said, you have offered what, like the fact 16% of players did that. You basically have rigged it. It's like me saying, it's like imagine going in negotiation, you're having this negotiations and going like, okay, cool. So the league have offered the last offer for your salaries is you're going to make all you as a group of people. You're going to make you were making 75k, you're going to make 300k. That is the last offer. It's like, okay, yeah, but you have to stick to that for 8 years. It's like, oh, we don't really want to do that. But also, we're going to ask you, will you accept 8 years at 200k? It's like, wait, what? Obviously not. Like, it was a badly worded question to get an answer they wanted. The survey obtained, would you accept the league's proposal of 50%? Because it's 70%. It's not even the correct percentage. The survey went on, say if they would vote yes to accept 15%, are there additional wins that must come with 15%? If their answer to that question is also yes, select top 5 additional wins. Players answered no. So what percentage were they willing to accept? 18, 20, 25 or other. So basically, they were only given a gross percentage. They were only allowed to answer on gross revenue, which is a no-go for the league, by the way. It doesn't matter what they answer. It doesn't matter what they answer. It's a no-go for the league. So basically, they're only allowed to say what percentage of a non-negotiable on the league side they would accept. Let's put that out there. Then they were asked to prompt if there be additional wins that must come with received. If yes, they're prompted to identify them. I think questions were fine. So if you couldn't even said, they were trying to allow people to fully understand what this means. If you say yes, this is what it means. If you say no, this is what it means. The union released a statement Wednesday, which attributed to the executive committee. In every CBA negotiation, the goal of the league is to divide the players. The goal of the league is to divide the players. The PA is dividing the players. This is the whole problem, is the players are dividing against the PA. Like, it is literally, I mean this when I say this. Like, it is, this is the problem. It's nothing to do with the league. The league are sitting back a lot, eating popcorn. The league are sitting back. The league haven't had anything to do with this. The league actually have had nothing to do with this. Players authorized strike when near unanimous vote. Yeah, but they never thought it was going to be there. Plum was on multiple players who expressed their disapproval of potential strike. When asked if the league began by striking, Jackson said any labour negotiation display of unified strength provides leverage. However, she doesn't believe any person works for the union or advisory team wants a strike. Of course they do. Despite some executive committee members asserting a strike is still on the table, Jackson said there's no division. Of course there's division. Like, stop saying there's no division. Of course there's division. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's happened. Like, you're about to basically take every cent of money. Players are going to make $0. Of course there's going to be division. But nobody wants a strike. I think it's absolute what you're hearing. Do I hear division in that? I don't. I hear players saying they're frustrated, they're disappointed, negotiating started early with intention on significant progress, all-star. So basically, you know, it's on the league. No one wants a strike. You don't call a strike because you want to. You're calling a strike because you have to. That's basically them saying no one wants a strike, but we're striking. But like, we're striking. Plum and Steward letter outlined detailed breakdown, yada yada. Players had also not been provided full access to the league's proposal for January. Union staff told the front office words historically proposal summaries have been used in negotiations. It wasn't until December that the players asked for complete proposals. So they never gave them to them because they were withholding information from the players, and the players were like, just give us, we want this. Full access is granted to players made that request following a process including signing league-required non-disclosure agreements. The entire executive committee now has access to the league's proposals. According to union staff, players get full access beyond summaries have been provided. That's not really an excuse, I have to say. But in fairness, it is what it is. Like, the league had been ran like a shit show the league was a shit show for however many years. So it is what it is. The NBPA will give if a committee member reach out to union staff, they would get there. The NBPA, like the WNBPA, use summaries. Union did say its advisory team, which includes economists, yada yada, is available to request information like Steward and Plum regarding potential losses associated with. So basically, they're refusing to actually give out the information to players. You have to go individually to third parties. So basically, to get the information they want, they have to go individually to third parties because the league can't even get those third parties to get the full information at the players. So individual players have to do it. So individual players have to reach out. Do you say up to this point, question about potential financial impact delayed shortened seasons had not explicitly come up from the players until the letter? Well, yeah, because They literally have to go to, and individuals have to go to basically above the head of the PA to a third party because the PA won't give them the information. Like, what are we doing? They made it as hard as possible to get the information. The ball's now in the union's court to deliver counter proposal. Yeah, no shit. No shit. It said their last meeting didn't even discuss the plans for the counter proposal. According to multiple sources, it didn't include it. She was like, oh, it did a little bit. But it did not go into specifics. A call with the entire EC immediately followed where plans for counter proposal were discussed according to union staff. Like, their letter puts names to anonymous groups and can increasingly question their tactics. Others, like Williams, expressed confidence in union staff. Jackson said that she spoke to Plum and Steward outside. They had a good conversation. Sometimes hard conversations need to be had. Jackson's been with the WNBPA, asked if she plans to remain executive director of the WNBPA beyond the CBA negotiation. Jackson did not hesitate. I don't think it's even a question. Absolutely, I serve the pleasure of the players. So she's staying. At the end of the day, there is very much an implication that waiting out, the only leverage they have is a strike. There very much is that implication that the only leverage they have is a strike. There is the implication, there is absolutely, Elizabeth Williams should not have given comment because Elizabeth Williams confirmed absolutely without question confirmed that players are scared to speak up because she has denied that she basically denied what Stewie and Plum have said. The two of them came out and said players are going to them because they feel scared to speak up to the higher ups. And then Elizabeth Williams decided to say, I've nothing against Elizabeth Williams, but she confirmed it. I don't know what way she's negotiating. I don't know if it's on behalf of the players, but there are clearly players that are scared to speak up, and she brushed it off. Not only that, like Terry Carmichael denied. They have denied stuff from the letter. They have flat out denied it, which is a big concern, by the way. They have denied what was being said, which is the worst part about this. Not one is it like, you know what, we understand the concerns and we're going to make sure we keep players up to date with everything. They flat out denied the letter. They denied everything that they said. They denied that players anonymously are coming to these two players, and the two players that stuck there, they've essentially implied that they're lying. They've essentially implied that they went rogue. Everything. Every single thing that they said. This article pretty much confirms everything that was written in the letter. Pretty much confirms everything that was written in Howard Megdal's article. Because of the way it is. Like, it is and very much is implying that Fee and Stewie went rogue and need to come back. Like, oh, you went rogue? Oh no, come back to us, come back. It's like, oh, we actually do represent you. No, like, not even a conversation to be had. And not only that, the worst part about all this, and this is the one thing people don't really understand in this entire scenario, is that they are currently not even preparing really a counter proposal. There is 5 days, and the WNBA are going to come back with a counter proposal that is going to have 25% gross revenue when gross revenue is a non-negotiable, and there's going to be a delay, and there's probably going to be it's probably going to be over. It's probably done. And that's exactly what, by the looks of things, Terry Carmichael and a lot of the EC want. They have now gotten into a situation where Stewie and Plum will never speak out again. They will never speak out again publicly. They'll go through agents. They'll go through inside information. They'll go through Howard Megdal. They'll go through Annie Costable. They'll go through Alexa Philippou. But they'll never say anything publicly again. And not even publicly, they'll never say anything privately again. The WNBPA leaked their letter. They leaked their letter to stall because they want to strike. There's no other logic to it, to leaking that letter. Whoever leaked that letter wanted to strike. Whoever it was that's been speaking to Howard Megdal, they know exactly, like, they are literally out there saying that he basically implied that they don't want to play basketball. That they're doing everything they can to not play basketball. And the fact Howard Megdal's article basically said that there could be a split in the PA. That was a last resort. The fact is that could happen. That absolutely could happen. You could end up, like, these players could tear up their PA contracts. The league, the league could play with scabs for a year. The league could have the college players in and hold open trials. And I mean it, and then see who crosses the picket line. And I don't think we'll see the likes of a Caitlin or an Angel be the faces to cross the picket line. I actually don't. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Angel sits out the season. But I think I wouldn't be surprised, but it's likely that would happen. The reality is that there is going to be, if the WNBA, if the league decides to go with, and the league, it would be a ballsy move to say, we are running as scheduled. You're coming in, rookies, you're coming in for a quarter of a million minimum salary. As look, $250,000 minimum salary, and this, even lower the salary. The salary cap is what it is, but like teams might just go and give everyone the minimum. $250,000 each. And let's be real. These agents are talking to teams. These agents are talking to players. These agents are talking to other agents. The agents a week ago wrote a letter to Terry Carmichael basically saying, you're not telling us what's going on. So either every single person is lying or the union are lying. Everybody knew when the agents were getting involved that the players are scared to speak up, so they've got their agents involved. And then that didn't do anything, so they went to Stewie and Plum, who spoke, and then they got put back in their place by the union. Everything they've said, everything that has happened the last week has been very, very clear to the point that no matter how much the union say they don't want to strike, every bit of their actions are that they're going to strike. And by the way, I don't know if they had that 97% vote allows them to strike without even a blind ballot. If there was a blind ballot on strike, if whatever they can negotiate up to March the 10th, if there was a blind ballot on March the 10th of whatever the final deal is, strike or no strike, I can guarantee you it is less than 50% of people. But you better believe that if it's not a blind ballot and the PA and players can see who voted what, they'll strike. Guarantee it. Because they're scared. They're scared of the union.